This dog is one of the worst pullers I've ever seen, and I'm serious. He's so strong, he's dragged his owner over multiple times, and now she just can't control him, meaning he just doesn't get out often. And I've decided to take him on. Can I help Loki and his owner, or am I just wasting my time?
So why does he pull on lead? And it's the same reason why your dog at home also pulls on lead. And I don't mean this to sound condescending, but it's basically because he's been allowed to, and you allow your dog to pull on lead. Now hear me out. If you give your dog an inch, they'll genuinely take a mile. Another reason why your dog pulls is simply because they just don't understand what it is you're asking of them. So you put the lead on them and they're just used to constantly bouncing off the end of the lead. And simply just telling them to stop pulling constantly and no is not helping them to understand. But don't worry, we'll cover that later on in this video.
So before you do any kind of training with your dog, it's really important that you burn off that excess energy. So in this case, we're going to let Loki off lead. We're going to use a long line because he's not too trusted off lead. So, you know, you've got no excuse to let them off, let them run. You can also do kind of tug work, treadmill work, anything to burn their energy off. Don't expect too much from them, and it'll make it a hell of a lot easier when it comes to training loose lead or anything for that matter. So once we've burnt some of that energy off, it's going to make our life a hell of a lot easier when it does come to training a loose lead walk. So what I'm going to do now is switch him over to a slip lead. Now, a slip lead is really effective in communicating with your dog and getting that message across to them. What matters is how you position the slip lead, and not many people know this, but you want it high and snug behind the ears, just underneath the jaw. You don't want it too tight where it's going to choke your dog out, but you also don't want it too loose where it's going to fall down the neck. So kind of find that balance. So once the slip lead is on and positioned correctly, I want to move on to what I call the engagement drill. Now, the engagement drill is basically just a series of exercises to get your dog engaged with you. So I'm going to begin with some outside turns. As you can see here, I'm basically walking in a straight line and doing a 180-degree turn and going in the opposite direction. I'm using a verbal cue of like, Loki, let's go. If he doesn't respond, I'm going to use a little bit of lead pressure to encourage him to go. What's important here is I'm not hesitating. I'm just kind of turning and going in the opposite direction and giving him no choice but to follow. I'll repeat this a few times until he's literally coming without me having to give him any sort of verbal cue or correction. He's literally just following me, as you can see here. A little tip I have as well is basically when your dog is in front of you, they are in control and they will start to make their own decisions. If you have your dog by your side or just behind you, you are then in control of them. And a dog needs a leader, and your dog will thrive on having a leader. And if you're not the leader, they will then step up. If you're in front of them, you can then make the decision and basically reassure the dog, and this will help with reactivity, barking, and basically them making their own decision. So once we've kind of mastered the outside turns and he's literally turning without me having to do anything, he's just following my cue, we'll then move on to what we call inside turn, which is again what it says on the tin. I'm literally doing a right angle turn and cutting him up. You might see here that I'm walking into him. Again, I'm not hurting him, I'm just kind of nudging him out of the way and letting him know that this is the way we want to go. In short, what this does is it keeps him behind me so that when I turn into him, he's then naturally going to be in that heel position. And I'll just keep repeating this until he gets the hang of what it is I'm asking for him. Then we'll move on to some squares. So we'll pair it all together with outside and inside turns. What I'm trying to do here is one, make it fun for him, and also keep him guessing where I'm going. I'm trying to get away from him rather than him bouncing off the end of the lead and trying to get away from me. And the last exercise is moving on to some sudden stops. The easiest way to explain this is think of it as there's a road right in front of your feet, and if your dog steps in front of that, then they're going to get run over and die. But now, on a serious note, take one step forward, come to a sudden stop and get your dog to stop with you. If they don't stop, just simply apply a bit of pressure on the lead to bring them back level with your feet. As you can see, Loki's pretty good at this. He's doing what we call an auto sit as well. Then we'll break it with the heel command as we start moving forward again. And in short, it just keeps him paying attention to us rather than bolting to the end of the lead. And this is something that I urge you all to do before a walk, but don't do it in a town centre. Don't expect too much from your dog. So basically start in a quiet car park or a field like I am here with not much going on. And the aim is just to get your dog engaged with you, get them looking up to you rather than them, again, thinking everything else is more important than you. If you do this for your dog every single day, and it can just be in your back garden, honestly, it will make a difference on your lead walks. And here is the final result. We've managed to transform the way Loki walks on lead in just a matter of half an hour. Now, by all means, he's not perfect, but as we apply these methods week in, week out, we will start to see more and more progress as we increase the distractions and head to the end goal of him being able to be walked by his owner again. As always, thank you for watching. We currently have a 30-day training plan totally for free that will be emailed to your inbox every single day. If you want to sign up, click the link in the description below. Trust me, you won't want to miss out.